Look, I'm a simple man. If I see a trailer for a movie about some mysterious guy that doesn't talk much single-handedly spanking an entire army, you know I'm gonna watch it. And no, I'm not talking about John Wick, or Nobody, or Sisu, or Silent Night. I'm talking about The Beekeeper. I went into this movie with very high hopes. I mean, Jason Statham, known most notably for his role as Tybalt in the critically acclaimed classic Romeo and Juliet, is in an insane amount of action movies. And from the ones I've seen, he's got me convinced that he wants to and is able to beat my ass. But after watching this movie, I'm really unsure about what to think of it. Now, before you get angry and call me a mean name in the comments, there are definitely a lot of good things about this movie. One of the best things about it being Jason Statham himself. His character is mysterious, capable, and likable. I definitely think he could have laid off the one-liners a little bit, but I was rooting for him the whole time. Like the other John Wick style movies, The Beekeeper is dead set on a single goal. I can't exactly say what that goal is without spoiling the first 5 minutes of the movie, but just know it involves a call center scam and a dumbass who thought giving her bank account information to a site called friendlyfriends.net was a good idea. Even though the setup for this movie was done really quickly, it honestly shocked me and immediately made me build a connection to the Beekeeper and the dumbass, while also setting up the villains as some of the most unlikable douchebags I've ever seen. Also, I'm calling her dumbass for a good reason, but I did actually like her character a lot. Another great part about this movie was the fight scenes. Jason Statham, given his years of experience, knows his way around another man. Wait, no, not like that. I was able to perform some great choreography. He was killing people in some ways I had never seen before, and did so without the movement feeling awkward. Now I will say, if you're expecting him to face many challenges throughout this movie, don't. I went into The Beekeeper expecting for it to be like one of the John Wick babies, and a big part of John Wick is that he gets his ass beat over and over again, but he just keeps getting up through sheer force and willpower. Honestly, to a point where it pisses me off. Like, bro, you just died. You can at least take an Advil or rub some icy hot on your ass or something. But in The Beekeeper, this guy just doesn't care. He's too powerful. There was literally only one fight where he got injured at all or had any difficulties, which was funny because they kept hyping up each new villain being the strongest person you've ever seen just for them to get plowed with zero difficulty. I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. I just went into the movie thinking it would be like Die Hard, so I was a little put off at first. But if I had went into it thinking it would be like a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie, I probably would have had a better time. Like, I know he's contractually obligated to never lose a fight, so there's not really any stakes to it, but I still watch Jumanji. And also, that's my president. I know what you're thinking. Okay, so Tweedle, if the action movie has good action and a likable main character, how are you unsure about it? Well, little one, I'll tell you. It all starts with her. I don't know if you remember Dumbass from earlier, but this is her daughter. I don't remember her name. She's an FBI agent whose goal is the same as the Beekeeper's, but is also trying to catch the Beekeeper because, he's killing people and blowing shit up, and since she's a Fed, she can't tolerate any fun. And I actually think this could have been a great side story, except for the fact that she was useless, and if her part was cut out of the movie, it would have made no difference. I wouldn't say she's an unlikable character on her own, but she had no impact to the Beekeeper whatsoever, and there was no chemistry between her and her FBI partner. Their banter with each other didn't feel natural at all and wasn't funny, and every scene with them was just I swear the scenes with Jason Statham versus the scenes with these two were like shitting and wiping. I see the Beekeeper setting someone on fire, and I'm into it. I'm entertained and gleeful. Then it's wiping time, and I gotta watch these two knuckleheads yap for 10 minutes before I can go back to the good stuff. She did actually have an impactful interaction with the Beekeeper at the end of the movie, but I just don't think it was worth sitting through all the Also, this movie was very exaggerated in some places. Like, Josh Hutcherson was playing a spoiled tech bro CEO of the criminal organization in this movie, and they had him rolling around the office on a skateboard and gave him frosted tips, which just seems like the exact move they would do in a Disney Channel original movie. Also, when another one of the tech bro villains was about to get killed, he started talking about crypto and giving Jason Statham NFTs, to which I think he had the appropriate response. Nobody wants your stupid monkey. Looking back, I don't necessarily think the exaggeration was a bad thing, because the movie was surprisingly funny. And I think the exaggeration of the tech bro villains was more of an amped up spoof of that type of person, and wasn't meant to be taken seriously. But even the weird shit the Beekeeper was doing made me laugh, whether intentional or not. So if you don't look at it from a lens of taking everything seriously, this movie definitely did its job. apart from the scenes with the ball and the chain over there. I would say that this movie fits more in line with a classic action movie than one like John Wick. He's not gonna face the same trials and tribulations that someone like Johnny would. But if you're just there to watch a cool guy do cool things while blowing things up and saying one-liners,
stick around.
This movie's definitely for you. So while the useless side story took away from the cool guy doing cool things, overall, I'd say this was a pretty good movie. I think I had a worse time watching it initially because of my previous expectations of it being a John Wick clone, which I'm not taking the blame for because that's exactly how it was marketed as in the trailer I saw. But from my view, I'm gonna give it a Tweedle patented score of 6 out of 10. However, I think if you take my advice and watch it with a different lens going in, it has the potential to be a 7 or maybe even an 8 out of 10 if you love that beautiful bald man. So if you haven't watched The Beekeeper, watch it. And if you have, let me know what you thought. Alright, now get at it. Wait, it's not over yet, buddy. I know you're watching this, creator of The Beekeeper. You thought I was just gonna let it slide, weren't you? Well, I'm not. There was a scene in this movie that was 1-to-1 the same exact scene as one in Jonathan Wick. Remember the scene where the Russian gangster Rascal is telling his mob boss dad about how he stole from some guy named John Wick, and his dad was like, well, that's the Baba Yaga, so you're already screwed. They did that exact same thing in The Beekeeper, where Josh Hutcherson was like, yeah, this beekeeper guy is really mad at me. And his old protector guy is like, a beekeeper? You're already screwed. Don't think I'd let you pull a fast one on me like that, creator of The Beekeeper. Nothing gets past the Tweedler. And I'll give you Fury, but I don't know if you want to be known as the Suicide Squad guy in your trailer.